Okay, hard forkers. Welcome back and welcome to Maggie. How are you, Maggie?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, you've been here before, back by popular demand.
Yeah, right.
The audience has voted.
Okay, or one of them.
We have more than one viewer. Well, more than one person asked you back as well, Maggie. So without further ado, the reason we're making this video, there's been a lot of interest in Axie Infinity. It was the project that we reviewed last week. So breaking with tradition here, we've had a lot of people a little bit confused about how to get set up. We're going to go through a bit of a handhold for you now. Maggie is also the proud owner of, what did you purchase, Maggie?
I bought a mystic balloon Axie, but apparently I bought a fraction of one.
Okay.
According to Stefano.
So Maggie came out for dinner with us the other night, and Stefano convinced her of the merits of being involved in the Axie Infinity universe. So on that note, Stefano, before we get into it, could you just remind the audience why you think this is potentially a good investment? Obviously not financial advice here, people, but what are the elements of this and growth rate and ways you can make money out of this?
So traditionally, like when you're considering if you want to like jump in a project or not, and especially like for NFTs, I would say it really comes down to like the adoption, like how is the product being used and so on. So to give you an idea, like these are the data from the 20th of September. So it's a little bit old because it's been like a week plus on that, but they're being like put up and shared directly by Jeff, which was obviously like on the show with us. And if we're looking at just like the Android data of the daily players that there are like currently on Axie, we're like at 90,000 of those. And if we're looking at like the growth from week over week, they're actually like achieving around like a 5,000 on that. So they're growing like pretty well. If we're looking at the Discord server where the community is hanging out, like asking questions and so on, they're almost reaching 9,000 users over there, like growing exponentially day after day. The market where you can like buy and sell the Axie and so on, they reach, well, first of all, $1 million in sales in the past 30 days. And the most interesting one is that 500,000 of those was actually generated in the past 7 days.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah, there was like a lot of action on like the mystics and like the triple mystics in particular. But in general, like it shows that there is an interest not only from the players, obviously. So the numbers that you're seeing like on those 90,000 and so on, those majority of the cases are the people that are playing and getting like those $3, $4, $5, $10 a day in reward. But then you start having also like big investors that comes in the space, buy a single Axie and put down like 75, 100, 150 ETH for something like that. So where is something like that going? Well, the growth in terms of like usabilities is growing, is going in a positive way. That also means that the prices of Axie is increasing. The prices of the land is increasing as well. So it's becoming a little bit like stiffer and more expensive to enter, but that's always a good news for the people that were like in before, because everything that they purchased in the past is now worth like, I don't know, 20%, 50%, double the price of when they enter. So yeah, that's pretty much like why I think it's still like pretty valuable, and it's just getting started. And if you're looking at everything.
And you can also make money playing the game.
Apologies. Last data, which for the blockchain people is probably quite important. Axie is the second most used app after Uniswap. I think that that's kind of like in the blockchain world says a lot of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
On ETH, right? You're talking about on Ethereum?
Is there anything else except Ethereum?
Well, you said blockchain. You didn't say ETH.
Okay. Well, let me rephrase. Ethereum.
I'm sure some hardcore Bitcoiners or other crews would take offense to that.
Okay. Look, if you haven't taken notice, I'm sure you just sat up in your chair after hearing some of those stats. I certainly am, and that's the purpose of this video. Let's talk you through now how the whole structure of this works, how you go about setting up your wallet, getting axies in the different ways that you can, in fact, invest, I suppose, would be the term to use. Maggie, you feel free to jump in anytime as we go along with your questions.
Please, sir, can I ask you a question? Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I do have a question about it, because you touched on something, Stefano, about communities and building communities. I mean, that's the real value of it. It's not the games as such. It's building, I think I read somewhere, it's about building experiences with NFTs. And that's the real value behind it, because just having a product, I mean, something's as valuable as you want it. I've just bought this mystic balloon Axie, but I don't know.
Fraction of that.
Can we just?
I really have no idea how
You
about
have no
Can we
idea what
just
you've
be
got, do you,
precise
Maggie?
that is a fraction of that, or you're basically like one of the whales of Axie in one
We make
day?
the analogy for that is like you want to learn how to drive, and you just went and bought like the wheel to like a Ferrari.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Pretty much.
But I'm part of that community that are building that Ferrari, and eventually I'll be able to get in there and
Exactly.
zoom off. Okay.
No, it's 100% true. Like there are two parts on that question. The first one, obviously, yes, it all relies on the community, and that's one of the bigger issue on a lot of like even new blockchains that are coming out and be like, oh, this thing is like 10 times or 10,000 times faster than Ethereum, but then nobody's using that because the community is what actually like drove the price up or down on specific things. So that 100% true. And the Axie community is absolutely fantastic. Like every single time that you have a question, you have a doubt, like I hang out on Discord. I don't know about like the other places that they have, to be honest. But on the Discord per se, like every time that you have a question, that can be like the super entry level or the very high one, there is always an answer that comes like in, I don't know, like a minute or two, which is incredible because like it means that he's super active on that side. The second part, which is like about does the NFT as a purpose and so on. I read a Twitter yesterday of a guy that says like that, read about Axie and like this purchase of 150 ETH for a triple mystic. And he was like, oh, this is CryptoKitties 2.0. Now, there is an enormous difference between the two things. On CryptoKitties, like what you do is that you get the NFT, you breed the kitties, and you basically like generate new kitties every single time. What you use them for is basically just display. And that's why the hype of CryptoKitties went like a roller coaster. Like it went super hot because it was the first famous NFTs app, and then it went like down because you could have not really do much with that. Yeah.
Just very quickly, Stefano. There's also a website called Kitties, and there's a guy on there trying to sell a picture of his hairy chest for 246 Ethereum. If anyone's interested, check it out. Kitties.
John obviously has checked it out.
It seems like that it might be his NFT that he's trying to sell at this point.
Sounds like a guy.
One of my friends.
That's not much. Anyway, come on.
Anyway, the point is that on Axie, there is actually like a huge value between one Axie and another one because you're basically using the monsters, the Axie, to then play the game. And so every single one of those Axie has specific skills as well as like, you know, higher health or like lower health. They're faster than others and so on. And so when you're building a team, the better the Axie, the better your team, the better are your chances of winning. And when you're winning the small low potion, which are the tokens. So you're basically making money based on your skills of playing the game. Either you're super talented at the game or you need to buy good Axie to increase your chances of winning.
Or you farm them like I'm doing.
Or you farm and then sell and never play the game, basically.
So that's speculative, because there seems to be two parts to NFTs. The speculative, which is what Digital Delphi, I think, did last week when they sold 5 ETH and 162,000. They're hoping that someone's going to pay for that, you know, more for that later. And then there's this whole sort of gaming thing, which is kind of for the younger set. But for someone like me, going back to this whole experience thing, I'm kind of more interested in that and building something up that has value, but I still don't quite understand the experience, what that entails, and
well, let's get into a walkthrough, and as we go through the process of looking at the options, we'll
just one point on that. So Jorden was mentioning like the breeding. So basically breeding means like you create new monsters. We have, let's assume that like between Android and iOS, they have like more than 100,000 players and so on. You can breed monsters, so you can create them and putting that on the market and so on. And so demand and supply, there is like more inflation because there are more monsters and so on. The exit that have been like in the headlines, the ones that are like being sold for so much money and so on, are basically triple mystics. And of triple mystics means like that out of the parts of the body of the monsters, 3 parts are mystics. What does this mean? It means that the entire game will always have 19 triple mystics. You cannot create them. You cannot breed them. So let's forward that. Let's say that they move from 100,000 users and gamers to 10 millions. But you can have only and exclusively 19 of those type of Axie, no matter what. It's the scarcity is set from day one. And so obviously, because you have demand and supply and so on, there is like all the economy that has been generated. The rarest an Axie is, the higher the value should go, in theory.
And does any of this yield any, what you could turn into currency as we know it? So can you make money from this, basically? I'm using the word money. Yes. I shouldn't use money, but you know, currency. How do I make money if I'm
so you can make money in multiple ways. The first layer, which is basically the one that is put in the stories from like the Filipino community, the people in Venezuela, and so on, are the people that buy the free Axies. So I have like that $100, $200, $300 as a starting budget, and then start playing the game. Now, every day you have like a specific amount of tasks to complete, and then you receive also a reward. But every single micro task that you complete, like a fight, a challenge, or something like that, you receive tokens. So ideally, in a 1 hour per session per day, you should be able to like reach around 150 small log potion, which is their token. And that sits on what, like 4 or 5 cents per token. So you're basically making like, let's run it up and let's say that is like $7.50 a day. On the other side, you can also do like the flipping. So you can like, you know, either breed something or buy that and then reselling that. Giving you an example, land, which is one of the things that are going to introduce in the future. So you can buy like the virtual land. A couple of months ago, a piece of land on Forest was going for like 0.18 ETH. Now, after 2 months, the cheapest one that you can find goes like for 0.36. So in 2 months, the minimum value is doubled.
Sending us some.
Huh?
Shout out to Jeff.
Oh, yeah, and shout out to Jeff for the donation. Much appreciated. And we're definitely going to use that once the land gameplay is available.
So I have a little piece of Axie land now.
No, you own one land.
How to get some characters.
Yep.
What I do with them. So should we
get
into it? Jorden, do you want to take it away for us here? Talk us through the first thing we need to do.
Okay. First, you need to screen share. And then once you screen share.
Yeah, you've got it.
Oh, hang on a sec. Screen share. Oh, hang on a sec. Because I can log in with my MetaMask, can I? Oh, no, you've got the Meta. Sorry. Sorry, I just recognized this from yesterday when I was buying mine.
Hey, that's mine.
Sorry.
What are you doing with my MetaMask? So I've already set this up with my personal account. So I'm just going to switch it. I have my Gonzo crypto coin, which is the competition wallet, right? So I'm going to log in with MetaMask. And you have to sign it. You know, they ask for signature. And it brings you to a dashboard, right? And then you have to set up your email and your password, right? So you put your password, your email in, they give you a password, verify it, and then you're pretty much registered. So, and once you do that, they give you an Ether address up here and a Loom address.
Well, the ETH address is yours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But I mean, that's the wallet that you use for your Axies, and yeah, it is your address. They don't give it to you. It's in the dashboard.
So basically, you're just opening up their website with your MetaMask open at the same time with the address that you want associated with this this game.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
So I haven't set this up yet, so this is the first time. So eventually, I would send the land that Jeff sent us to one for each of us, and it'll be our inventory here. You'll see you have your Axies, your land, your item, your bundles. Mine's completely empty right now. Maggie, did you get this far? Did you get your dashboard going?
I don't think I have. Yeah, hang on a sec.
You don't have to do it now, Maggie. We're making this video for you to figure out how to do it.
So we're not doing anything. We're just watching you, Jordan, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Yeah. No,
Or we can actually like use Maggie for real and having her setting up everything.
I don't think so. It might take you all night at this stage. I can't even get out of this bloody. Okay, right. No, but yes, but I recognize everything that you're doing because I did it yesterday.
Nice. So once you've got your dashboard set up, you can go to the marketplace, go shopping, right? Because most people, they're going to want to start playing the game right away. So you're going to see you can sort by lowest ID, highest ID. That just means how they're created. The highest ID is the newest ones created, right? So if you click to that, you'll see it's all just little eggs. So these are just ones that were made just recently. Ones for sale. And you can also flip it to ones not for sale. So you can see all the newest ones have just been bred. So they're not even eggs yet. They're in the little incubators. So what is it?
Jordan, sorry, do you mind if?
Yeah.
One thing. So if you want to start playing, you need to get the so-called adult eggs. Yeah. So for example, what you're seeing on the screen now, those are eggs. If you buy those, or you get like the larva, the larva, which are this one that are like on the top, and then the little one, the small ones are the petite. Those three, you cannot use them to play. You need to transform the monster every single time to the next stage till it becomes an adult, which is like what you're seeing now on the screen. So when you want to jump straight ahead and start playing the game and so on, take a little bit of time. I know that obviously everybody wants to like just download the game and start playing immediately, but this part is actually very, very important. When you need at least 3 Axie and focus on the adult. So a tip on that is like on the left, you see where you have like filters and so on. You can actually like select to watch and view only adult. No, more on the left.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that.
Sorry.
To set this up, you want to go for sale, and then you also want to sort by lowest price, unless you're a baller and you want to start with the highest price.
It's pretty good. I'm going like with lower price.
Yeah,
actually.
so you start with the lowest price, and then your lowest Axie right now is $21, right? So in the whole world, $21. So if you got the 3 lowest, you could get started realistically for like $75.
Can I throw a really silly question in at this point? Now, if I am unlikely to play the game, and I'm not saying whether I am or not, but just say I'm not, how would I sort of assess buying these Axie with regards to it just sort of being an investment as opposed to actually playing the game? Or
the easiest way, if you don't want to like put the time to like figure out which one is a good Axie and so on. So you see the like where you have like general parts and stats. And you also have like mystics, you have like breeding count, you got like pureness and all of those things. So couple of like super general rules, but in reality, people should spend a little bit of time to figure out a couple of things. Now, mystic is what we were talking about. So three mystics is, for example, like the ones that are going like for 100, 150 ETH and stuff like that. Now you got like the lowest one is 278 ETH basically. And those are like 3 mystics. Then you got like the 2 and you got the 1. Those are in general like the very scarce one, the one that you're playing like for scarcity basically. The other thing, if you don't want to like start ahead with like, you know, a couple of thousands of dollars, what you can do is start focusing on the pureness part of that. And so instead of playing on the mystics, you go on the pureness and you target only 6 out of 6. Because anything else is, yeah, whatever. And so on pureness in general, like they have something unique because it means that like out of the 6 parts of the body, all of those are of a specific type. So you see that they're all green over there. That means that they're all from a plant axia, basically.
They're all color coded. So there's like different types: plant, beast, mech, bird. Stefano, help me out.
There is duck or dust or whatever it is. Dusk.
Yeah.
There is Merc. You mentioned that. There is beast.
So here they're right here: beast, plant, bug,
aquatic. Yeah, they're all there.
So that's just the aesthetics of it, whether I like the look of it, basically, or
correct.
Well, they all have different abilities too.
The other part, which is also like what the abilities is, that you could go like, you could, for example, take a pure axia, 6 out of 6, and then go on the stats part. And then from there, you can max them out. So you see that like on stats over here, this axia has a 61 on health. 61 is the max that you can have. So this in general is not a bad purchase because it's a pure forest. It's a 6 out of 6. It's a 61 on health. So it's a tank. And in general is something that people would actually need to start playing the game because you need a tank to create a team.
And what's the morale?
What is what?
Can you go back to the top again, please, Jorden? Oh, morale, 41.
So morale is basically like that ability to give a critical attack to another monster.
Right.
Being clutch, you know, coming through when it counts.
Oh, okay.
It's like, you know, the monster is almost dead. You can have a weak hit and not kill it, or you have a strong hit and it takes it out.
In addition to people watching this video and probably the thousands of notes Maggie will provide as well, knowing Maggie, where on this dashboard or on this website is all this information? Obviously, it's a hell of a lot to take in.
Well, on the dashboard, you don't get that. On the dashboard, you get like the values. You need to learn what's the value represent. And so you can do that, for example, asking questions on Discord, on the Axie Discord or on their Twitter, stuff like that.
Okay.
So you see it's got this nice simple buy now button, right? Click it. It runs through your MetaMask transaction. Hello. Not enough gas. You hit confirm and it runs through, and then within minutes it'll move to your inventory.
Plus it's a 4/7. So the breeding count, that's another thing that matters. An Axie can create only 7 additional Axie. Once you reach like 7, that's it. And in general, Axie that are like a breeding count 0 or 1 are more expensive than the ones that are like at 4, 5, 6, or 7. The reason why is that every time that you're using an Axie to breed, it increased the count. So from 0 out of 7 to 1 out of 7. But in order to breed, you need to use their own token. You need to use the small love potion token. And every time that the breeding count is higher, you need to pay more SLP in order to generate a new one. Does that make sense? Did I already lost you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. So every time that you want to breed and so create a new Axia, you need to burn their token. So the small love potion, the SLP. The SLP, you get that, you earn that either by playing the game or you buy that on Uniswap. Now, when you are creating a new axia, you might have, for example, that you need to pay 300 SLP. So you need on your wallet 300 SLP in order to create a new axia.
So here I'll show you.
But once you've done that, the breeding count of your axia, or your mom or dad, will increase. And so the next time that you want to create a new axia is going to cost you more. So in this specific case, go, Jordan, all yours.
This guy, he's got a 0 out of 7. I bought him specifically to breed. So actually, this is one of my first kids that I bought. Well, I didn't buy the kid. I bought the parents, and then this is one of the first.
You create the baby.
The baby. So I bought a bunch of SLP on Uniswap, our favorite exchange. And then so on the dashboard, when you click on your inventory, there's a little button here, breed. And then so it's got your SLP, how much you have. I have 2,246. This guy only costs 100 because he's got a 0 count. And then you select who you're gonna pair him with.
Why did you breed such an angry-looking baby?
You don't get to pick. It's like genetics, you know. It's just random. Yeah. And I called that guy Horny Beelzebub. So then you select your axie that you want to breed it with. And then so depending, like this one's got a breed count of 3, right? So that you see that one, it costs 500 for this one and then 100 for this one, right? So the higher the breed count, the more expensive it becomes. So this one's to breed this one 4, it becomes 900. So if you're breeding 2 that are 4 and 4, it's going to cost you 1,600.
What if we were to convert that to say USD, Jordan? How much are you paying here for what you're doing?
900 is $40 pretty much.
Okay.
I think around.
And is this sort of like racehorses?
For $45.
The better breeding, the more games you win, and therefore the more SLP you make.
Well, it depends on obviously like how the new axia turn out, but in general, yes, the better the axia that you generate, the higher is the quality of the axia, the easier in theory should be for you to win the game, and therefore if you're winning a lot of games, you're making more tokens that the people that are not winning a lot of games.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, if I maybe don't have the time to play the game all the time, but I see the growth in this game, and I want to have a part of it purely from a sort of speculative point of view, I can still just buy these and breed them and do nothing with them and then sell them at a later date. Is that correct? Or
yes, you can do that.
Okay, but is it much more the case that I should be using these to generate that income?
I mean, there are a lot of people that are like breeding farmers, like that they are specialized only in one type of axia, for example, birds, which is kind of like the very strong ones in attack and those type of things. And so there are guys that are just running a breeding farm only on birds types.
Yep.
But the thing is that, like, you know, doing that, yes, is definitely like taking less time than playing the game daily, and potentially you can make more money by doing that. But
so the appreciation in any sort of money I could make, guys, is that coming from the potential appreciation and the value of the token and the SLP as more people come to this space? Where are my gains going to come primarily? What are the sort of tokenomics around the actual Axie character?
So if you're specifically talking about like the Axie character, then your value, your return comes like from one, you get lucky and you're able to breed a very cool Axia. So something very strong, for example, that has like a high value in the market. Option number 2 is also like the fact that more people are coming in the game. Demand and supply goes bananas, basically. So right. To give you an idea, when I took my first Axia in the marketplace, there were available 12,000 Axia, and now we're like at 7,000. So that obviously means that like there is less choices, and therefore the farmers, the breeders, are not capable of like keeping up with everything, and therefore like the prices are increasing. So even if you don't have like a very strong one, it's still going to be like on a good price.
Right. So that's it. That's in effect the tokenomics of these characters.
Correct.
Okay.
On the exit part, however, you are using ETH for everything, like to buy and selling. You're using SLP, so their own token, just when you want to create the new egg, like Jorden is showing now. Okay. So if SLP value increase, it means like that creating a new axie is going to cost you more, and therefore overall you're going to sell it for a higher price. Therefore, the general price of the marketplace is going to increase as well.
Okay. Maggie, any questions at this point? Are you following?
I'm following, but I'm kind of, because I'm kind of correlating it back to two humans trying to create a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Racehorses might be better.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no, because
you can't sell humans. Well, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, I know.
Where's my baby farm?
Well, yes and no. I mean, well, no, you can't sell humans, but I mean, in terms of who's producing these things, because these are like little animations, right? And there's graphic design behind this, so it's kind of a predetermined look to these things. And so what part of this is computer coding and sort of random, and that's what you get, and what part of it is?
So those are ERC 721. And they're in a super simplified way. They're very similar to like a genoma model. So you got like your little fluffy central thing, which is like the same for everybody. And then every single one of those has 6 different parts. So those are the ones that can change, the 6 parts. And then like every part is stronger than another, therefore they have different percentage or probabilities of being put on a new axia when you're breeding them.
Right.
And then it goes, obviously the code is defining that, and based on like the genes that you're getting out of that from like the randomized code based on the percentage of probability and how rare a part is compared to another one, then the code is allowing you to see the final result, which is basically the little monster jumping on the screen.
Okay, I have another question then, which is kind of, I'm digressing slightly, but when I bought my Mystic Balloon Axie, I went to...
Fraction.
Yes, Fraction, okay. And I went to Opensea.
Correct.
And then, so I shouldn't go to Opensea. I should just go straight to Axie Infinity and I just buy my...
Well, there are a couple of things. So the thing that you bought is actually like made by Nymftex, because it's a fractionalized NFTs. So what happened to like your purchase is that someone took that Axie, so that ERC 721, put that into a smart contract, and then the smart contract issue all the same ERC 20 tokens so that everybody can purchase a piece of the NFT. So on the other side, answering the questions. So if you're looking, for example, at the Axie, those are running on the Ethereum blockchain. So because they are ERC 21, you can basically like push them wherever you want. So it could be like on the Axie marketplace, it can be like on Opensea, it can be like in another marketplace that sells NTFs. Right. But if you're taking, for example, land, because you can buy Axie, but you can also buy the land or the items. Now those ones are running exclusively on the Axie layer 2 blockchain, so to their side chain. So for those, for example, you cannot transfer them outside to something like Opensea because Opensea runs only on Ethereum.
Okay. Okay.
Now I want to buy some.
Besides having too much to drink on Thursday night when you were telling me all of this, and then I went off and I remember you talking about Opensea, and I went out on the Opensea and I bought
like a drunken sailor.
Yes, I was a drunken sailor, and I just.
What's your saying, Jordan? Buy drunk, sell high.
Buy drunk, sell high. Oh yeah.
So look, I was also doing it just to experiment, just to go through the process of, you know, learning how to use all it, because it's just so new. And I don't know in terms of, well, you did give some numbers just a moment ago, Stefano, about, you know, millions of people who have, no, 90,000 it was, people which in the world who are doing this. And I'm just, I guess I'm just trying, it is actually quite complicated for your average person. So who is going to use it? It's going to be young sort of gamer types or you know, millennial who still haven't quite grown up and want to play.
Maggie, I mean, just very quickly, I'll jump in. I mean, for me personally, you know, I just see the growth in this game, and therefore I want to own a piece of this land. I just, for me, it's, you know, supply and demand here. If this is going to grow as fast as it's growing, this seems like a pretty good thing for me to be doing. I don't have the time to sit there and play the game, so I'm fascinated to understand more about the land guys and how I actually go about buying it, and how do I assess what's a good piece of land?
Good piece of land, yeah. That makes more sense for me. That's a bit more speculative. Oh no, it's a more long-term investment because you're hoping it will grow and it will be worth something.
Well, it is, but on the other side, I mean, to answer the question, like the first part is that it is a game. So it is obviously creating to targeting gamers, or like in general people that likes to spend time on things like that and figuring out those type of things because it's part of the challenge. But on the other side, yes, you don't need to play the game in order to like speculate on something like that. That's for sure. But I think that it's very important to like keep an eye on what is happening on the game. Because like, for example, the land, you can flip that. It's true. You can buy that, own that, the growth increase, and then like you resell that for a higher price. But in the future, and that should actually happen like as soon as they launch the land game mode, you could start earning some money from the land that you have. So a sort of like, you know, someone, it's not clear yet, it's not defined, but according to like what the information are saying of what is going to happen is that like when you're playing the land mode gameplay, teams need to go to dungeons. And so if in the street they're passing to your land, you're actually earning some money on that.
Oh, like a toll fee. Like a toll fee.
Yeah, pretty much.
My bridge you have to pay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And so when things like that are in place, there is another game that is doing something similar, which is called like League of Kingdom. And I have a piece of land over there. And without doing anything, that land so far has made me like a 1.1 die. Now, it's not a crazy amount of money, let's be honest. It's like $1, basically. But it's still something that is like doing kind of like a sort of passive income type of thing that I'm just like letting there, and it's generating a little bit of money here and there. Yeah. And then you get the freedom that like, if you don't want it anymore, you get tired or whatever, I can just resell it that, and that's it. Nothing else, basically.
But I think the bigger picture, because the gaming is really just using it as an example, but I think going back to who the founders are of this NFTX and the Axie Infinity, I think it isn't the bigger picture that it can be applied to the real world, to real businesses. So for example, I'm from the spa hospitality industry, even though I'm here talking to you guys. But, you know, could you have a platform that is geared towards selling spa experiences or wellness experiences around the world through the hotel, hospitality industry, the travel industry, for example, which will come back one day after COVID. But
maybe.
Otherwise, we're just going to have these virtual spa experiences using NFTs or something.
I mean, of course you could. Like, take, for example, what is happening on
Decentraland.
Because, yeah, exactly. Because of like the COVID and so on. But Decentraland or even like the Sandbox or Crypto Voxel, their platforms like Binance, for example, has been preparing and like or it already happened, maybe I don't remember that, but they have like created a virtual party on Decentraland to celebrate like their 1-year anniversary over there. Influencers are doing that. There are like conferences that are held on Decentraland, when then like you see the speakers talking on like a virtual screen. Obviously like they're in cameras like we are right now, but like you're in a virtual world, like surrounded by other virtual characters and so on. Those are obviously like the things that are happening now, but nothing is stopping to like bring that to the real world in terms of like the NFTs experience for that. Like there are, for example, like, cause you were like playing around like on Opensea and so on, but there is like a couple of artists, traditional artists, like so paintings and so on, that are, what they're doing is basically like taking that paint, putting that into an NFT, and the person that is buying the NFT receive also the physical copy of the paint at home. And obviously your NFT becomes like an option to like display that in the digital world as well, but it also becomes like that certificate of authenticity that like you own the real paint, and then you can display that. Nothing is stopping to basically like cross-boarding between like virtual and real world. Like the possibilities are 100% possible. The only thing is that the blockchain industry is an industry that is like 10 years old pretty much, but the NFT industry is 3 years old.
Right.
Like it's something that still have a long way to go before getting to like even close to what like the cryptos, the traditional tokens are doing right now.
Right. Okay.
You could also make it, just for another sort of simple way to describe an NFT, you could also consider a website an NFT. So, you know, you may have bought a bunch of domains in the past and thought, oh, that's a great name, that's going to be worth more money. You go and buy that. That is in effect an NFT.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's your digital ownership. It's that one-off. You can resell it at a higher price. That's another way to sort of describe it.
A super cool project that I've seen on like physical NFTs is this company that is basically selling very super expensive and rare wine. And so what they're doing is basically, because these bottles are like so expensive, they store them for you and they give you the NFT. So if you want to redeem the bottle, like you burn the NFT and they send you the bottle at home. But on the other side, you can actually resell that NFT on the market, and whoever has that can then redeem that expensive bottle of wine. So you can really play in whatever things it comes to mind at that point.
Okay, so I think there's obviously, you know, it is new to us, Maggie, and there's a bit to learn here, and obviously we'll have a bit of a play around and possibly revisit this on the regular. I'm very interested to buy some more land. How do I do that?
Go to your marketplace.
Yep.
For me, I have no idea. I would just probably pick randomly.
Right.
I mean, I can't find any descriptions on like what's going to be on the land. It really is just pure speculation. Like,
not exactly. So there are a couple of things. The pink dot that you see, those are dungeons. So the closer you are to a pink dot, the highest are the chance that people are gonna pass through your land, and therefore like you're gonna make an income. Then the second thing is, if you are next to a road, that should give like your axie a faster movement. So like over there, you see that there is that cross. Stop. Okay, no, wait. Stop. Okay, perfect. So you see that there is like that cross, there is that blue line, that's a river, and that's another thing. But then there is like that one, the beige colorish thing.
Like a crossroads.
Yes, those are roads. So all the things that are like next, all the lands that are next to the roads are a little bit more valuable, the things that are like inside completely random.
Okay.
And then there is the river, which is like the blue things. And so in the world, the river goes all around. And basically there are lands that are inside and lands that are outside the world. It's not clear what it's going to mean, if it's inside or outside. But at the moment, the community is saying that it has more value if it's inside the river.
Well, it looks like it,
Maggie,
'cause there's
can
more
I-
dungeons in there.
Can I be there when you explain to your husband that you've bought a pink dot dungeon next to a river where some eggs are going to walk past and it's going to go up in value?
Maggie, I gotta know how much you like drunkenly spent on your mystic.
Oh, on my Mystic. Oh, do you know what? I put in an offer. It was supposed to be going for 0.05. And by the way, I bought,
Oh, that's not bad.
no, I got it for 0.045 because that's what I asked for. And I got it
Oh.
today. But I also didn't buy it directly with ETH. I bought it with wrapped ETH because something told me that it's better. You get a better, it's cheaper.
It's cheaper for the gas.
Yes, exactly. Because it cost me 73 cents in gas, but then I got charged another fee, 75 cents, because I think I was using Opensea. They charged me something. So
That's fair.
yeah. So that's why. But I was experimenting. So, you know, but
You
the
might be confused, Maggie, but you're ahead of 99.99%.
Really? I feel like I know nothing. But yeah, it was about 20 something US dollars in
Here's our land, guys.
Oh,
So
exciting.
we are near a
That's
road.
very exciting. This is the
In the
first
river.
time I've ever seen my ownership of some digital
That's
land.
not bad. Okay, let me see the others so I can tell you guys
This
which
one is
one
Sean.
you're gonna get.
This one is Sean.
Hang on a minute. How are we going to decide whose is whose?
yeah. Yeah, why all three forest plots?
I want the one in the middle.
Because forest is so there are like 4 types of land. There is savanna, which is the cheapest one, and it's all like around, like all on the side. Then there is forest, which is basically now the one that goes for 0.36 a piece of ETH.
Okay.
And then there is Arctic, which is basically like
Too cold for me.
meh.
Uh-huh.
And then
You mean
like
your virtual club?
the mystic one, which are basically like the cool ones. So
Oh, yeah, I like the
Genesis, forget about that because like it's almost impossible to buy a Genesis. I think that they go like for I don't even know 40, 50.
Sorry,
40.
Stefano, very quick question.
Mhm.
Can we just go back to our land?
Yeah, sure.
It was, if you know, it was sold for 0.01, right? And now all the cheapest land is 0.37.
Yeah.
That you can get for forest. So
So,
it's
sorry,
3x.
where is our land?
I think we need to change the meme from Sean in for the tech, clearly.
yeah. Sean's desperate to get his hand on his land.
This is a moment in history, Maggie. This is the first time I've ever seen my ownership of digital land in
There's
the
our
game.
land.
This is great.
It
Forest
might
plot.
be that one. We don't know yet, but it
Yeah.
could be.
I know.
I feel an argument brewing, but okay, we'll come to
That
that
one's mine.
later. So it's currently, where do we see the value of it?
Well, you don't have the current value.
In for the
I'm in it for the
tech.
tech. I'm in it
This
for the
is
tech.
the last price that it was sold for.
Right.
Oh, down there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And-
but that doesn't count because now the cheapest one on the marketplace is 0.37.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
the
That's what I
value
mean,
is
but you
basically
can-
that.
It gives you an idea, right? Like
Yeah.
what it was sold for. It's 3x since the last time that it was sold, right?
Wow.
Correct. Correct.
The
Okay.
mana, the central land is the same thing. I did this exact same thing with the central land. I bought 3 parcels just speculatively. I had no idea what was going to happen with them. I just set my budget. I said, okay, I got 1,500 mana. I'm going to try and buy as many pieces as I can. I bought 3. And then like 6 months later, like, oh, we're putting a road in front of one of them. Woo! And it like 5x in price.
But you can tell where your land is. The location is showing. What do you call it when you've got the degrees of, you know, minus 116.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So how do we work out the tokenomics of this? How do we work out, you know, how much land to buy, what it's like, you know, I mean,
Just set your budget.
Yeah,
well,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
but I mean, how do you sort of run the numbers on this to figure out whether you're whether it's a good investment or it's purely based on seeing the growth and the amount of.
So the couple of tricks on that, and I think that like the DCL blogger guy is the guru on this, because like he's been doing like flipping on land for ages.
Oh yeah, on that note, people watching, we're going to have him on hopefully this week.
And so one of the things that he has said that is like a good model to buy and flip land in general is like, one, buy bundles, never buy a single one. And then on the bundles, trying to get them for cheap. And so for getting that for cheap, you have two options. One is to like discuss privately with the person that is selling, if for whatever reason you manage to like find who owns what. And for example, the Discord servers are very good for that, because you can ask on the Discord and be like, hey, who owns this specific bundle, for example? And then you can start chatting in private and figure out if you can get that for a very cheap price. And he was mentioning that in some cases it took him also like months to arrive to a point where like there was an agreement. The other option is that you see that like on what Jorden is showing now, there is that option on like making an offer. So the rule is that you never want to buy at the price that is displayed. Obviously, you always want to make an offer, and then you're doing your math. So let's say that this person is selling 5 lands right now, and Savannah lands goes like for what, 0.27. So 0.27 multiplied by 5.
Sorry, whoa, slow down. Where are you seeing 0. How do we just walk through slowly on this one?
If you go like on.
So here, this is a bundle of land in the marketplace, right? So
he's selling 5 lands.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then if you're going to land.
Sorry?
Go on land, yes. Okay, click on Savannah.
So the cheapest
Your cheapest
land,
one was for 0.289. So right now, let's do the math.
By 5 to see if that guy's asking too much.
500.
So the value of market, if you're selling like individually every single piece of those, will be like 1.445. So that guy is charging an extra like 0.1 ETH. Mm-hmm. So you could, for example, be a low bowler, which I am when I do these things. So I'm currently having like an offer on someone that is like asking for like 6 ETH, and I'm basically offering like 2, just because I hope that the person is going to be desperate and in need of cash at one point. If it works, I'm very happy, but I'm just like waiting. That's nothing else. But because the value is obviously like that 1.44 and the guy is selling at 1.55, you could, for example, like putting an offer for like a 1.22, which is not too crazy. And you get that 0.3 on the plate if you get like cheap price, cheap gas, and so on. And you can basically like flip literally 10, 20, 30 of those a day at that point.
How is the liquidity, Stefano? You're talking about trying to lowball somebody. You know, how much of a market is there?
Well, you know, not everybody has like 6 ETH to put like down like this. It's a little bit different. We're looking here like
if I had $1,000 worth of land right now, is it easy for me to flip that again for the same price or slightly less if I had to, or is how shallow is the market?
It depends on where you are on the price, obviously.
There's only 213 plots for sale right now.
Right.
Right. So there is 17,241 plots
in total.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not very
people
liquid
are not
market.
selling.
No, clearly. Interesting. All right, that tells me what I wanted to know.
Let's get a hard forking bundle.
Yeah. And start hard forking some characters and getting some more.
Oh, I started that.
Yeah, Jorden is having like a farm that is like printing Axie like rabbits at this point.
See what I got now?
Look, that's insane.
These are what?
Wow.
You've been doing a lot of forking, Jorden.
Oh, look, this one, I can morph it to an adult right now. This guy's
You know,
awesome.
right, that you have more Axie than me, basically.
This is a good one. Hey, Stefano.
Let's see. That is a 0. That is a 0. The cures. It's not bad. It would be good as
A tank.
it's a 61. It's a tank. You lose on the card, obviously, that he healed the guy in front. But for the rest, it's not bad, actually.
Yeah, it actually has some damaging ones, like pretty good damaging ones.
It's nice because you get the card like with 0 energy, and those are like always annoying, especially the poison one. If you can do like a combo on that and start having like a 3 or 4 on poison, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna turn this into an adult.
You guys could talk for hours on this.
In
And
front
you're-
of us. Are you going to do that right now? Can you show
Yeah.
us? Can we see?
His
Maggie.
baby is becoming an adult. He's gonna leave the house and go and live on his own.
And then I'm gonna breed it 10 minutes later.
Oh my God. It's supposed to be depopulating the world, not increasing.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've understood the tokenomics around the land and whether or not it's probably a good buy. So I'm pretty clear on that. Maggie, as the newbie here,
I have one question.
what have you taken from the chat so far? What have you understood, and where are you still completely vague?
I think I've made a mistake buying that fraction on the Opensea. So
No, you did not make a mistake.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we don't know what your gas is, Johnny.
Oh yeah, it's 120 right now.
Right.
That's
I'll
good.
wait till tomorrow morning.
Okay. Yeah, so do I just leave it there and just like go in and say hello to it once in a while, maybe once
Just
a
put
week?
it back
Well,
on the market
it's
for
a
2x.
fraction, but ideally, yeah, like to give you an idea. So
I want to hang out with you guys at Axie Infinity. I can't bring it over there. Right?
you can buy like no, because that's only a fraction, so you can't bring it in the game. But I know that, for example, like the guys in Nimtex, if you have an offer for the entire NFT, they can put you in contact with like all the different parties, and you can actually acquire the NFT.
That would be thousands of dollars for that one.
Oh
though.
yeah, of course, he's a mystic.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. But even with that, like you can resell that. Yes, you could do that. But on the other side, like I bought a horse and a digital horse, let's be precise, obviously. And I paid a very silly amount for that. It was like a 0.029 or something like that, because I was like testing out the game and so on. And then my experiment went completely bad. And I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm going to resell the horse. And so I put it at like on sale from like 0.04, which was still like a 30% higher price than what I bought the horse for. And I sold that in 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So even if you want to like flip that at one point, like I don't think that there's going to be like a lot of problems to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. So I think we'll jump back in there and just sort of look. I suppose it is quite a bit to take in, but guys, I think you've cleared up a few things for us. Yeah, Maggie, would you feel comfortable now that you could make an assessment on making an investment in this game and how to go about doing it, or?
I think for me personally, what I would do next is I would want to go to Axie Infinity, navigate around. I want to play. Can I just watch the game being played then? Do I just go on YouTube and find some people who are playing?
You can go on YouTube, or you could go like on Twitch or on DLive, and there are streamers that are like streaming their battles and so on.
Yeah, that's what I need to do next. And then if I feel comfortable and I want to buy 3, because that's what I need to start with to be able to be in the game, then and then I play around, then I can come back to you guys and say, hey, do you want to play?
Or you can go to Jorden so I can see if the student has surpassed the monster.
Okay.
No, but yeah, absolutely, yes.
Stefano will be the game master.
Can we play against each other, or is it random once you've got your own?
No, it's random. I hope that they're gonna like add that pretty soon. That like you can challenge your own friends. But the reason why they're not doing that, it's like to avoid like bots and those type of things.
Right.
You know, otherwise people would like start challenging each other and winning like tokens and just farm 24/7. But if they have like an option where like you can challenge your friends without actually winning any tokens and so on, that would be pretty dope. But I'm not aware of anything like that at the moment.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Last question from me. Is there any way that you've been able to assess the appreciation and the value of the actual Axie characters, the eggs, as opposed to the land so far? Or
so there is the guys at Nymphex, which have a dex on the Mystic Axia. And so if you're going to their website, they exactly have like an index that just shows you like all the appreciation of the values of, but it's only for the Mystic ones.
Right.
For the normal ones, you have tweets from people talking about that are like monitoring that like week over week. Like already the fact that you're finding like the lowest one at 0.06, since Jorden started playing the game, I think that price has already increased. Because I think that like back when he started, the lowest price was like 0.04 or something like that. So there is no official thing for that, except for the Mystics that, yes, there is actually an index for that.
Okay. Right, so I guess the next time we do this, next week, we should have played a game, because I still haven't done that. I guess
shame on you.
Shame on me.
Shame.
I think it's a pretty good gauge, you know, like with the Decentraland, that's exactly how, that was the only way I could gauge whether I was, you know, it was getting better, is just using the minimum value, right? You might not have the least valuable land, but that tells you what the bottom bar is. So if the whole market is rising, that means that if you've got a mid-level, it's going up as well.
Look, so, the simple reality for me is I'm just not a gamer. I don't have that interest that you guys do to game. I'm purely looking at this as you know,
just horse races, right?
Oh, I mean, the horse racing one sounds fascinating to me. Yeah, so I mean, look, I'm interested to check out the game, but I guess what I'm saying there is, of course, I'll want to get some characters to play the game, but I don't really want, you know, I would hope that those characters are, what I'm trying to figure out is, are they going to go up in value, or what do I need to do? Because I'm not going to be sitting there playing.
Well, you need to pick the good ones in order to do that. You know, that's another thing that like I made the mistake when I started playing the game of not doing the research. And so the first team that I bought, I obviously went like for the cheapest one. And I knew a little bit about like the breeding things. And so I was like, oh, I'm getting like these guys with like 0-1 breeding that are pretty cheap. I'm a genius. And it turned out that I bought like something so terrible that the day after I ended up buying another team. So, you know, as long as...
Sounds like my ample fourth trade. I thought it was a genius 2 weeks ago. Now I can't afford an Axie team.
You got the retard bait.
Wrecked.
Pretty much. But that's the thing, like, as soon as you, like, you know, I think that what Jorden has done is probably, like, the best possible approach on that. Like, ask someone that is playing the game already. Ask for, like, a review. Ask for a couple of tips. It takes a little bit of time, it's true, because, like, we spend...
15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
I've got some nieces and nephews, but...
You just show them the thing, the game, and let them figure it out, and then you go talk to them a week later. You'll be set.
I asked them, okay, what shall I buy?
Yeah, no, just seriously, show them the game, and then just go away for a week.
Okay.
You'll be able to go back, and they'll be like, oh, and you'll be like,
okay.
That would be my advice.
All right. And then I give them the money and let them buy, and then I just take a 15% passive income off them or something.
Exactly.
Well, I guess that's sort of my closing question is that, you know, to me, as you know, as I've said, I'm not a gamer, but I'm seeing the growth in this game, and obviously understanding the whole NFT space, Stefano. You know, lots of learnings from you. Just take a position in something, see the appreciation, learn how it works. It teaches you about it, the whole space in general, which is really how I'm approaching this. So I'm just trying to understand: am I wasting my time and money buying the creatures if I'm not actually going to be using them? Is it better to just maybe buy some land and forget about it, so to speak? Or is this really for someone who is in there every day and wanting to talk about it every day? And, you know, I see the passion you guys have for it. I don't have that passion because I'm not a gamer. What would be your comments around that?
I think that the comment is, if there is someone that puts down 150 ETH for a triple Axie, I don't think that that person is someone that plays the game every day, like a family in a poor country trying to like feed their kids and so on. I think that the two individuals and the two personas are completely different.
Yep.
The beauty of this is that it works for both.
Yep.
So you want to buy a land? I personally would say I own more land than actually Axie, to be honest, because to me is that as soon as I have my team, I love playing the game. I play the game daily. So to me, it's like I don't care too much about having a lot of Axie. But I'm actually taking lands because I'm very interested in seeing what is going to happen once they launch that, because that's a new thing. Jorden is doing like a different approach. He's breeding. So he's taking, even like with two people, like we're in 4 on 2 that are playing the game, we're playing the game in a different way. So it's really like you can go about that as you wish. What I would do if I want to just like put something and forget about it, I would get a little bit of land, and I would probably get like a 1 mystic or a region, like something that I knew that if the community increase, if the value increase, if everything goes like on a growth, mystics are gonna be like valued a lot. Would I buy now at today a triple mystics for 150 ETH? No, to be honest, not. Would I buy a 1 mystic for like 4 ETH? Yeah, to be honest.
I have one question, sorry, before you go.
Yep.
I do remember you talking about a shard the other day. Is that related to Axie Infinity?
That's what you bought on Opensea.
A shard. Oh, is that the terminology? I bought a bit of something, so I bought a shard.
Well, I don't know if it's the terminology, but I know that like the guys at Nymphtex called that in that way.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what you bought, a shard.
Okay, thank you.
We can go halves on a mystic, Maggie, maybe.
All right.
We'll figure it out. I've learned a lot from these two today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. I've learned a lot today as well.
Yeah. Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I had one other comment, Maggie, when you said that you're just going to give your nephews and nieces some money.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Set them up with a MetaMask. Show them how to use MetaMask. Show them how to get their private keys, right? And then show them how to buy ETH. And then you open the gate for them, right? Then that way you're not a gatekeeper.
I was actually thinking about that. Yes, I will do that instead.
That's what I want to do with my daughter too, as well. Is just show her, you know, this is your private keys. You know, keep these safe. Write them down. You know.
Okay.
And then copy the private keys so when they're sleeping, you can steal everything.
And then go all in on an Ampleforth trade.
Keep all the seed words, right? That's what. So I can steal it while they're sleeping.
Exactly. And then they're gonna be like, "What happened?" You're like, "I don't know. This blockchain thing is very weird, you know."
Got hacked.
It's the new technologies, a new tech. Who knows?
Is that a thing called the dad hack?
Okay, we'll have another look at Axie next week, no doubt. So yeah, any closing comments, Maggie?
I'm all done, thank you.
Yeah.
I've got my dinner on the table waiting for me.
Yeah.
I've got steak.
You have to put your notes from today in one of those files behind you, nice and neatly, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
I know.
Maggie's the most organised person I've ever met.
It does appear that way.
That looks messy back there at the moment. You can be more organised than that.
Jorden, closing comments?
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm super stoked. I mean, I'm just kind of jumped in both feet. And as I do with most things in crypto, you know, it sounds cool and I can see the potential. It's just like, let's go.
I can see the passion you've got from this one, the amount of conversation between you two on Telegram every day is. So yeah,
well, and
I mean,
also
your enthusiasm has certainly sparked mine. That's for sure.
Well, the other thing too is I realized what a resource I have in Stefano here, right? He's willing to share. He's got experience. It's like I said earlier, it's like, you know, 10 pages into the user manual, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's page 1. Plug in your MetaMask. It's like, okay, I got that stuff. And then it's like, okay, he's like, okay, you need this and you need this. I'm like, okay, so I start looking at those things and why they're good instead of like looking at 10 things and trying to figure out which one is good and which one is bad.
Yeah.
You narrow the focus right away.
True. So, Mr. 10 pages into the manual, Stefano, closing comments.
Well, to me, it's like what I say multiple times. Like, Axie is the first tangible example of like what universal income is gonna be. Like
video games.
Well, it is like to me, like you know, we can have a conversation on like the NFTs, the value of the tokens, the tokenomics, like whatever. But to me, it's like what the community, what the people and the team behind is doing is so important for so many people that, you know, cannot afford anything in some cases, like food or water. Like, I'm always going to be a super huge supporter or something like this. And the game is cool, actually. It's funny. So, I mean, it's a double win for me. So, yeah, I'm all in on that.
Fantastic. Well, no, Maggie, you've been doing your research into who the rest of the team are, as only Maggie does. So she's having a thorough deep dive, like we all are here. So listen, thank you for watching, everyone. We clearly like this project. We are going to be using it, following it. You can check that out every Wednesday on our show. We'll show the appreciation and the value of our land, what else we've done with the tokens, the axies. Jorden will probably have about 4,000 of them by the end of the month, so that'll be fun.
Buying my axies.
Yeah. So any questions, comments below, get in touch with us. We're here to help, and thank you all for watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.